So, we're talking about how Jesus has changed your life, a way that he's kind of impacted you, how you've experienced him. And so, yeah, go ahead and share just kind of your story of experiencing him.
Yeah, so I grew up going to church with my family on Sundays. It was something my parents thought was important to do, and so we went most Sundays, I would say. But there wasn't a ton of experiencing God throughout the week of bringing Him into our daily lives. It was kind of like checking the box off on Sunday and going on with the rest of our week. And I also, for some reason, I don't know where it came from, but I kind of had this need to, be a good person and do the, right things in order to earn God's love in my life. And I kind of thought that it was based on me and based on my achievement and success in doing that, of being a good person and doing the right things. So I also, when I was 2, my parents got divorced. And so that was definitely impactful, of just knowing that that's not how it was supposed to be, how life was supposed to be, of living, kind of growing up in what I would say was a broken family of, just 2 separated parents. And so that all kind of combined led to me, just like I said before, trying to earn God's love, and knowing that, especially with divorced parents, almost feeling this sense that God was too holy and wouldn't want me the way I am, just coming from that broken family, broken situation. So definitely strived a lot trying to earn God's love growing up. And then when I was in 3rd grade, I attended Spring Hill camps, which I know a lot of Great Lakes
Yes,
students go to. It's a great place.
love Spring Hill.
Yes, shout out to Spring Hill. I went there in 3rd grade, and really that was the first time I heard the love of God be explained in a way that, He sent His Son to die for us, and there was nothing we could do to earn that, that He wanted a personal relationship for us and with us. And so, He wasn't really a distant thing anymore. He wasn't, he came down to meet us, and he wants that personal relationship with us. And I learned that I can't earn his grace and His love and His mercy, but it's something that's a gift that He gives to us, and all I had to do was receive it, which was hard for me to kind of understand at first. But I think that was the first time I really accepted God into my life. And it was definitely a beautiful change from the way I was living before, of just trying to do the right things and be good, which I realized I was never going to be good enough on my own to earn His love. It was a free gift that He gives us.
So you, growing up, thought you had to earn God's love, weren't good enough for Him. He's this distant thing. And then Spring Hill, that's why they call it the good news, I guess. It's like,
Yes.
That's good news. It's like God loves you, wants you. He's personal, like not distant. And you experience that in 3rd grade. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
How did that change, kind of like going forward? How did that change your life? How did that kind of affect you after that?
Yeah, I think because, like you said, I was in 3rd grade, so I was still pretty young, and I didn't. I knew that God wanted that personal relationship with me, and that was available for me to have. And but I think as I grew up, especially entering into Breakaway and Edge at Kensington, which is kind of when my family started coming to Kensington, was around when I was in 6th grade. So I started in Breakaway, and just growing up through Breakaway and Edge, I started seeing students just like me, living out their faith openly and, very like passionately, and seeing the relationship they had with Christ. I kind of looked at my relationship, and I think maybe in this scenario comparison, I think we talked about this earlier in the year, but the comparison was kind of a good thing. I was, looking at their relationship with Christ and how just vibrant it was, and knowing that I wanted that, and I wanted to grow towards that. And so, just seeing the way they prayed and read the Bible, and just were able to talk about it in their schools, I think was super inspiring to me. Seeing my leader, one of my leaders, Emily Wilson, just seeing her
Yes.
about her faith was so cool. And so I think I saw that compared to theirs, my faith was more lukewarm. Like like I say, it's the whole kind of visualization of like no one wants lukewarm coffee or lukewarm drink that's supposed to be hot. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of how I would describe my faith then. So just seeing students and leaders in Breakaway and Edge really live out their faith inspired me to keep growing and keep going with just growing and learning more and learning all I could and just growing closer to God.
That's awesome. Were there any moments in your life, or not, maybe not moments, but just things in your life where you intentionally made choices based on your relationship with Jesus? Like you intentionally were different than what culture was telling you to do or what you normally would have done. Do you have any examples of how it kind of changed your actions?
Yeah, I would say going into college, I played volleyball in college, and so I ended up going to a school in Ohio called Miami University, not in Florida, but it was
Not as good weather.
yeah. A lot of people always say like, oh, Miami in Florida. I was like, no, it was in
Was
Ohio.
so nice.
Yeah. So so I went to good old Oxford, Ohio, which is where Miami is, and kind of before going, I remember I was still kind of in this state, I would say, of having a lukewarm faith and feeling like, I honestly, looking back now, I don't know if I realized it in the moment, but I think I was still striving to earn God's love still, of like doing good things and falling short every time. And so I just felt super discouraged. And I remember praying, I think it was at a Kensington service right before my mom took me to college. I remember praying, God, like, I feel stuck. I feel like there's like walls up in my heart. I don't know why. I feel like my faith is really lukewarm, and like, I remember praying, do something in my life, shake something up, change me, because anything would be better than like how I'm living right now in this kind of lukewarm state. And looking back now, I laugh because I had no idea what I was praying for, what I was getting myself in. But yeah, right after that, I headed to college, and I was definitely thrown into what I would say is your typical college culture of a lot of, partying and just choices that maybe I didn't agree with, that people were choosing to spend their time on, the weekends or even during the week. And so I knew that I wanted to be different than that. I kind of had made that decision before coming into college, just because I knew that wasn't the way God intended me to live. And that wasn't, I knew I could be a light by living differently in that culture and in that scenario. So that coupled with, I think, being on a sports team and, being a part of and wanting to, especially, coming as a freshman, I'm sure as middle schoolers, going to high, it's like you want to fit in, you want to make friends, and you want to fit into that culture. But I just felt this conviction and this calling to live differently. And so that did kind of set me into maybe some like loneliness and isolation from my teammates and some friends that I still would say were my friends, but we just didn't share the same values. And it was just hard, maybe being the only person that was really choosing to live differently.
Yeah.
But it was amazing how in that time period of feeling lonely and feeling isolated, I felt the closest to God that I had felt in a really long time. And so he'd answer my prayer of, breaking me down and shaking
Getting
things
closer
up,
to God. Yeah.
but feeling like my relationship with him was the best it had been, because in that loneliness, I knew that he was with me and he would never leave me. So it was a really hard time, but super thankful for it. And it was very, I grew the most during that time. And I just grew a ton during college of, same thing with being in Breakaway and Edge, of just seeing people around me living out their faith too. I was able to get involved in a community in college. eventually, and I honestly think I was led to that community because I was choosing to live differently, and other people, the
Yeah.
people that mattered really saw that in me and knew that I was different. And that allowed me to get involved in a community that, I would say are my best friends today. And I think those friendships are so valuable and so deep because of our just connection through Christ and through our values and like what we believe in. So.
Cool. They're like doing yard work outside my window. Can you hear any of it or no?
A little bit, but not bad.
Literally like a blower right out the window. Hey, at least I don't have to do my own yard work.
True.
So not complaining too much. What would you say as an encouragement to middle school students in their relationship with Jesus? Kind of a last 1 minute thought.
Yeah, well, I know that for me, just talking about your story in general, I think our stories and our testimonies are so powerful. And I think in college, I would compare the bad type of comparison, my story to other people's stories, and just seeing like, wow, they had this singular moment that everything was changed and now their life looks totally different. And I think because I accepted Christ when I was younger, which for breakaway students that might be you too. And I would just say, like, don't judge your growth and your experiences and your story against other people's, because it's yours and God gave it to you, and He gave it to you so that you can impact other people, and He gave it to you for a reason. So yeah, I would just say, like, your growth and your journey with walking with Christ isn't gonna always look linear, and that's okay. And I would just say to embrace the process, and as you grow, just look for someone above you that you can look up to, someone who maybe is more experienced in their faith than you, like your breakaway leader, or just leaders in your life that you can see are living their faith out, that you kind of look at and you're like, wow, I want that too. And then also, as you grow in your faith, look at people maybe that are kind of coming up under you, that that could use that encouragement and use a mentor or someone in their life to walk alongside of them and teach them. So yeah.